4.7 million years ago. There were no cities, no written words, no fire, no farming,
Not even the idea of a nation, a god, or a name.
just survival.
A world ruled by instincts and shaped by nature's brutal law.
But even in this raw, violent chaos, something remarkable happened. A spark. A change. The beginning of us.
The Earth, back then, was a shifting giant, volatile and untamed. Massive tectonic movements tore continents apart.
Volcanoes choked the sky. Thunderstorms raged across grasslands and forests.
Where deserts exist today, there were lush, green plains. Where oceans now rule, land once thrived.
This was not our world. But it was home to the ancestors of humankind.
Among them, a species known as Australopithecus afarensis. She walked upright, yet climbed like an ape. She didn't speak, but she felt.
She feared. She fought. And above all, she survived.
Living without tools, fire, or shelter.
It's easy to forget how much we depend on simple things. A warm meal, a roof, a flashlight.
But 4.7 million years ago, there were none.
No tools. No fire.
No shelter beyond trees and caves.
No maps. No plans. Our ancestors were scavengers.
They didn't hunt large animals, they lacked the speed, the teeth, the claws. Instead, they searched for fallen fruit.
Dug up edible roots.
Swiped meat left behind by predators, raw, cold, dangerous.
And they moved constantly, always searching, always watching. Because everything, from the sky to the soil, could kill them. Adapting to the land. But humans weren't the strongest. They weren't the fastest. They weren't the fiercest. What they had was adaptability. They watched the seasons.
They studied predator movements. They remembered which plants healed and which poisoned. They didn't invent the world, they learned from it.
Each storm taught them something. Each drought pushed them farther.
Each injury became a lesson passed down, not through language, but through behavior. The gift of group survival.
No one survived alone.
Even 4.7 million years ago, early humans lived in groups, small, tight-knit bands. Perhaps 6, maybe 15,
bound not by blood, but by need. When one found food, others gathered.
When one saw danger, others ran. When a child was born, the entire group watched over it. This is where humanity began, not with tools, not with fire, but with trust.
They touched. They comforted. They protected. And in this early compassion, something awakened. Empathy. It was the first truly human emotion. Their greatest enemy, nature.
But nature showed no mercy.
Floods swallowed everything.
Wildfires turned forests to ash.
Predators, giant hyenas, saber-toothed cats, crocodiles longer than cars, waited in the dark.
And there were other threats too, unseen ones.
Infections. Parasites. Broken bones. A twisted ankle meant death. An infected tooth could kill.
There were no doctors.
No medicine. No second chances. Every step forward came at a cost. Communication before language. These early humans didn't speak as we do.
But they had sounds, grunts, whistles, cries, signals that meant danger, food, comfort.
A mother's hum. A warning growl. A satisfied sigh. These sounds formed the earliest threads of communication. Over time, these threads became chords. Then patterns. Then something close to meaning.
This was the beginning of language, not with words, but with understanding. The first tools, a spark of intelligence. At some point, one ancestor lifted a stone and used it, not by accident, but by intent.
To crack open a nut. To dig into the earth. To crush a shell. This wasn't instinct. It was invention. The stone was no longer just a stone. It was a tool. This marked a turning point, the dawn of human intelligence. Later came sharper rocks, hand axes, flakes, edges. Each generation improved. Each discovery passed on. The fire that wasn't there yet. Fire, that great invention of mankind, wouldn't come for another million years. So imagine a world where every night was total darkness. No light. No warmth. No protection from the beasts. They slept in trees. Or in caves. Or curled together in silence, listening to the sounds of the wild. What kept them alive wasn't flame, it was fear. And each night survived, was a quiet miracle. Parenting in prehistoric times. Raising children in this brutal world was a heroic act. Infants couldn't walk. Couldn't feed themselves. Mothers nursed them while on the move. Fathers, or other group members, stood watch. Each child who lived carried more than genes. They carried knowledge. Behavior. Survival strategy. This is how culture began, not with books, but with mothers. The long line of survival. Time passed. Some groups vanished. Others evolved. From Australopithecus came Homo habilis, the handyman. Then Homo erectus, the explorer. Then Homo sapiens, the thinker. Each species built on the struggle of the one before it. They didn't start from scratch. They inherited strength, instinct, memory. You are not the beginning. You are the continuation of millions of years of survival. What this means for you. So what does this have to do with you sitting here, watching this video in comfort? Everything. The fact that you exist, with language, fire, tools, cities, is proof that they didn't give up. That some small, silent, terrified ancestor 4.7 million years ago faced the dark, heard the growl, and chose to run, not freeze. Chose to protect, not abandon. Chose to live, even when death seemed easier. You are here because they endured.